on Racing Show live from New York. Tonight we're going to talk about NASCAR's here, New Smyrna, when we come back.
Inravio.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Racing's here. It started. But it started, albeit with some tragedy at the New Smyrna Speedway during the World Series of Asphalt Auto Racing. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office released a statement this past Sunday on the death of a New Smyrna Speedway track official following feature events during Saturday night's World Series of Asphalt Racing. The Sheriff's Office detectives have continue an investigation into the death of 59-year-old Russell Rusty Cruz. Early Sunday morning, Cruz had attempted to break up a brawl between two drivers in the sportsman division. Teams that took place in this, it was an out-and-out brawl. I saw video. It was crazy. It was up to 40 people that were involved with this, all over a racing incident, which changed the outcome of the race. The brawl occurred in the pit area over by turn 3, and Cruz was ultimately assaulted while attempting to break up the brawl. Volusia Sheriff said there was currently no evidence of a direct link between Cruz's death and specific actions of any members that were involved in the altercation or anything that could have happened there that caused Cruz's death, and any specific actions of anyone involved in the altercation as well. Witness reports Cruz went to dispense the crowd and then became involved in the altercation himself. And when the crowd dispersed and everybody went to their respective pit areas, Cruz was seen as going over to the wall, sitting down, and it is there that they feel that Cruz had some kind of a medical situation.
Emergency type of a deal.
And
they're not sure yet what it is.
he died of a heart attack.
Oh, he did. Okay.
And they began CPR, awaiting the ambulance to take him to a local hospital. The teams of drivers, it was Brian Kruzjek of New Hampshire and Matthew Green of Florida. Now, I raced against or with Cruz in the World Championship Figure 8 races in 1995 and 96. He used to make the trip up to participate in that, and I'll tell you what, during that weekend it was up here. He stayed with people I know, and we talked, we chatted, and I was like, why would you take a trip all the way up to New York for this race? And he goes, because it pays good and it's good notoriety for it. So, it's a shame that this happened, and anything that happens on a racetrack, and we've all, we raced, and a lot of our viewers raced, your tempers go a little wild, and it just takes a shove, and next everybody's shoving somebody.
You got cabin fever.
Yeah.
And you got cabin fever, and it's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of tough, and then it's not. Let me just bring me up a little bit. I don't know if that's going to work.
Man, hang on a second. We need some batteries, I think.
Oh, okay. But it's a sad state of affairs.
Plug into that.
That. Hold on.
Hang on, she's gonna give you that one.
So anyway, and it's a shame that this has happened. Now, I don't know about Florida laws, but I know in New York laws, if you're involved in an altercation and somebody has a heart attack and dies, you're charged with a crime. It's called involuntary manslaughter. And I looked that up before I came here. And in fact,
Just plug into that one.
in fact, when I was on the grand jury way back when, and back in maybe 13 years ago, and there was a similar case to this where a guy punched out his girlfriend's father, and when he was down on the ground, knocked out, the guy drove away. The guy comes to, goes in his house, died of a heart attack, and that guy was charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Wow.
Now, maybe it is just too many people to bring in for questioning. I don't know. Maybe the laws are different, but the bottom line is at the end of the day, Rusty Cruz was dead, and
that's a shame, no matter how you look at it. Right?
Exactly,
Just,
because of tempers, and because Rusty wasn't one of those. When he got into an incident, went and wanted to fight people. You talked about it, and he went in there as an official, as a track official, to break up the altercation.
And that was his job.
Now, I remember my days as a NASCAR official, when I worked in the top 3 series or the top 4 series, when there was an altercation, we were told to just stand by, get in the middle, and we would try to push the people, we'd walk them away. And another official would be there taking names. But I've worked the races at New Smyrna many years ago, and anybody could get into the pit area, and there's a gazillion people in the pit area, and a lot of times when you have these altercations, everybody sees there's a fight brewing,
and
they got to run in, and if they see a guy they don't like, they'll punch him in the back of the head, and next thing you know, you got 10 people fighting that had nothing to do with the race teams. So it's kind of sad. So
yeah, that's something that's got to be addressed for sure.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah,
not a good look on us. And there's a man who's dead here now.
Yeah, and now it's one of those things, and it's sad. Like I said, I knew Rusty Cruz, and Rusty was a fun-loving guy. He loved racing. And a lot of us that raced go on to become officials because whether you don't have the money for it anymore, you're getting up.
You still
in
want to be
age.
involved in it, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be involved in it. Absolutely, I understand all of that. But whether he was a nice guy or not, he still shouldn't have had that happen to him.
Exactly.
You know.
When you're in that kind of a brawl situation, you don't know who you're hitting or pushing or shoving or kicking. Your mind is, I got to get to know.
You're doing things, and that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I know emotions run high. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've been there just like the rest of you guys have.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's, but it's just not a good finish.
No.
I mean,
and I know throughout my career at every level, whether I was a crew guy, crew chief, driver, owner, I too found myself in situations where, you're going after somebody or. Where you're having words and it's all good. You're with the other person and you might be chest to chest having words, and then somebody pushes somebody.
And then it escalates.
Yeah.
And then did you ever think about it afterwards, why did it have to go there?
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, it's honestly, even if you're getting paid at the biggest levels, why would you be doing that?
Exactly.
I mean, hey, it's just another day. It's just what it is. It happened. You know what I mean? People make mistakes. Whatever. You move along. Yeah. And next step. What are you going to do?
I mean, Kathy, she's from Florida. In fact, the daughter of WJ. What she put is nobody's getting charged with anything. And I'm gonna tell you, if they don't charge somebody, what's going to happen is it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
And then they're going to use precedent. Well, they didn't,
They didn't charge him this time. And
it's a sad state of affairs. George Sprague is saying he spent a lot of nights with Rusty Cruz and Robbie Powell. They used to come up together. And George, I remember you were just a kid. I remember those days. when the Florida guys came up and went racing with us. So, well, whatever.
Did I miss it? How old was he?
59. Yeah. Yeah, he had a lot of years left. A lot of years left. He was just entering, as a good friend of mine says, the final third of his life.
Well, yeah. You got 30 laps left to go. You got tires and fuel. You're just riding it out.
Exactly.
But 59 having a heart attack. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, so our condolences to the Cruz family, his friends, anybody he ever touched. I know there's a contingent of people up here on Long Island that he had a relationship with. And so
I mean, it's a tight-knit community wherever you are in the United States, but yeah.
So our prayers go out to
everybody involved, absolutely.
Whoever he touched. And you see the keyboard cowboys, they should cancel New Smyrna for the rest of the week. How do you do that? And the show goes on, unfortunately.
Well, is there still an active investigation going, or did they close the books? Done.
They closed the books. They closed the books. And not to say you can't reopen the books down the road, but I really feel that the teams that were involved, the drivers, because as it clearly states in the NASCAR rule book,
right,
the driver's responsible for the actions of the crew. So
absolutely,
those drivers might want to find, if it was up to me, a bowling league or a volleyball or something. They don't deserve, to be racing. And especially, like somebody had said that one of the race crews, they're very aggressive. They're always looking to, and then 3 or 4 people mentioned, they're always looking to fight. If they don't win, they want to fight.
Now, is this is a NASCAR sanctioned track, right?
Yes, it is now.
Now, because the sheriff didn't have any charges or anything, that doesn't mean the track officials or NASCAR themselves can't have some kind of...
Well, and from what I understand...
starting it, continuing it, not stopping it, whatever the case may be.
From what I understand, and I could be wrong, is the World Series of Asphalt Auto Racing held at New Smyrna Speedway is not a NASCAR sanctioned event. However, the ARCA Menards Series is racing there tonight.
Okay.
So we'll see how that all goes.
But what about the track themselves? They made no...
This is, when I first started going to New Smyrna in the early 90s, when you sign into the pits, there's a big, when I say big, there's a big sign. You're here at your own risk. If anything happens to you, basically, too bad, so sad. And I remember seeing, big, not like fine print on the release, on the NASCAR release when you have to turn over the back and what it really says. You're here at your own risk. And then there was a sheriff that died there a few years ago that was in a school bus race, and it was like, oh, well, sorry.
But that was a racing incident.
It was a racing incident. So, I don't know.
That wasn't something like this. This is just,
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, those drivers, and if I was a detective in that area, I would make these guys think they were going down. Because you could hold them for a certain amount of hours.
Well, you would want them to know that, listen, we don't want this to happen again. You got to send a message.
You can't fight. There's no need for that. And, maybe a couple of phone books to the stomach or something, something has to happen to these guys. Put a bunch of oranges in a pillowcase and just keep whopping them.
Put them on a round table and walk around going, somebody's not playing with the team here.
Yeah. Somebody's got to take the fall here. So again, I don't mean to make light of it.
No, we don't want to make light of it. I'm making light of it because I'm just baffled that this has happened.
And it's sad. It's beyond sad. So
it is.
It's just one of those things that should have never happened. Should have never ever happened. And those of you who race at your weekly short tracks, and even at the higher levels, think twice before you go into an altercation with somebody. Let it kind of here's me saying this. Let the situation cool down.
Yeah.
Get with your crews and tell them, hey, listen, you don't want to see this, and don't associate with people who want to be fighting all the time.
You would think that it starts with 2 people, and you would think the other people would jump in and grab you and pull you back.
Right. And then someone just said, don't trash it. We're not trashing the track. We're stating facts of what happened. I'm from a background, you don't trash your sport. I mean, I've had my run-ins with our local track here, and sometimes what they did to me was deserved, sometimes it wasn't, but I didn't go and bash the racetrack. They have a right to run a business there however they want to run it. I'm just saying I do not agree that there's no charges filed, and or at least it should still be under investigation. A man died doing his job, and in this case, breaking up a fight that was a brawl amongst, from what I'm being told, 40 people.
40 people, that's a lot of people.
It should have never came to that. So, it's a shame. So, anyway.
And don't be, just to clarify, we're not bashing any track. Listen, I'm a racer, so I'm talking to racers who we're all in the same family. We race at these tracks. We don't want any of these tracks to have a problem. We want everybody to be happy. We want everybody to come home safe. That's ultimately what this is. This is a sport. This isn't like Death Race 2000. So we want everybody to come home safe. So we're just talking amongst ourselves. Racer to racers. We're all racers here, and I just think that not bashing anybody. Honestly, I don't even know how you would have fixed that. It's just something that got out of control and got out of hand. But it's a shame that it ended the way it did.
It is a shame. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have some news out of the Concord Speedway in North Carolina when we come back.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE, your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, what's... Oh, I was going to say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're Set It Up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it, too.
Welcome back. And some more sad news in racing. Concord Speedway is being torn down. It was built in 1982. The track is located in Midland, North Carolina, just southeast of Concord. The facility featured a half-mile tri-oval as well as a quarter-mile over, both asphalt. The North-South shootout was held there many times, and there it is. It was a beautiful facility.
Wow.
Beautiful facility. But it's being torn down. And, I've said this on the show all the time. Do not trash your racetracks. Do not sell out, because they're not building new tracks. So once they're gone, they're gone. Now, it's...
1982 is a new track, too.
Yeah,
it's not like this was built in the 50s or something.
We're talking 38 years ago, and it held a lot of races, a lot of top series, the modifieds, and ARCA was there, and it's just a beautiful facility.
I'm surprised they couldn't keep that going.
It was for sale not too long ago, and I really thought somebody was going to pick it up and
Yeah, right. I mean,
take
you would
charge.
think. I guess there must have been not enough people to support that.
You know, and in this neck of the woods, and I was just down here last week.
Especially in that neck of the woods.
There's races everywhere. There's racetracks everywhere. You could go to the races almost every night of the week. If it was like how Long Island used to be in the '60s, you could race 5-6 nights a week and go racing. So and it's a shame. It's a shame because of what is happening with racetracks across the country. The land is now becoming more valuable as something else. And years ago, when, like you said, some of these tracks are built in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, in the middle of nowhere, and then urban sprawl comes and
Builds up around
builds
them.
up around, and then people say, "Hey, close the racetrack. I don't want to hear the noise." You knew there was a racetrack there when you moved in.
It's not that. There's a lot of land. I want to build a mini storage there.
Yeah.
Condos.
I want to build condos. I want to utilize the money, and I'll tell you what. And I'm not a fan of Barbara and Jim Cromedy, but I'll tell you what. They held out until they found a buyer, Eddie, Connie Partridge, and Tom Gatz, who were going to keep it a racetrack. That was one of the contingents on the sale. It's got to stay a racetrack, and because Long Island racing will be finished if Riverhead Raceway ever closed, but people are selling out.
I'm glad that they did that because
Yes.
that's awesome.
That's-
That's kind of what we need to do.
Right.
And they're taking a hit because of it. I guarantee that they probably could have got a lot more money
lot
doing
more.
something else or whatever the venture could have been.
Not without a doubt.
But
Without a doubt.
they're supporting Long Island racing, and we got to kind of do that for them, especially
Yeah.
with the car counts the way they are going down. So
and then
that's probably an important thing for every racetrack across the country. We got to support it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's tough.
It's
It's not, it's tough on everybody. I mean, because with the economy being tough and on lockdown and people not working and all the rest of that, how many people have the extra money? I don't have money to go racing right now.
no.
I can't put it together. I mean, I'm surrounded by all kinds of. I just bringing all my stuff home from the storage shed,
Yeah.
and I've got. I'm surrounded by racing stuff in my garage,
Oh.
everywhere,
And-
and I can't put it together and go racing with it.
No. Yeah, and if you could, if anything broke with the cost of parts and equipment today,
I'm not even talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it together and putting it in a trailer and towing it somewhere. I even have the trailer. I even have the truck, and I still can't put it together and go somewhere with it. I just,
I know when I was running the Vintage Series in this past season, we're coming from Long Island, we're going to Connecticut, we're going upstate New York, we're going to Pennsylvania, and just to tow it off the Long Island in tolls was $200. Then you throw gas, you're going for a tank and a half, 2 tanks of gas, and then sometimes you want to stay over so you don't have a 30-hour day, and now you're popping another $1.50, $200 for a hotel room. It's just the cost.
and we're weekend warriors. I mean, even if you
Yeah.
kick out early on a Friday or a Saturday morning or whatever the case may be to go where you got to go, it's a trip and a half.
It is.
I mean, we made a trip up to Bethel there,
Yep.
right? And that was, we didn't get back till 3:00 in the morning, and we didn't stop the whole time.
No.
Didn't stop the whole time.
Well,
we left, we went.
We stopped one time because
When they gave me the tickets? Because my license plate was the wrong color?
just we had to stop. But,
Yeah, that was 10 minutes shot to hell.
Yeah, 10 minutes shot down. But anyway, again, so Concord is it's a shame. It was a beautiful facility. It was a beautiful facility. So, and speaking of Concord, I was down in North Carolina and looking at property and whatnot, and I stopped at Visconti.
You should have bought the
Motorsports.
racetrack.
Yeah. Well, I stopped at Visconti Motorsports while I was there, and who walks in the door is Matt Crafton, 3-time Truck Series champion, a Truck Series champion in 2013, 2014, and 2018. And it was just, when you see a driver, like, to me that's out of the element. He's not in his fire suit, he's not a racetrack. When you're there, and there's Matt and I in the shop, he was doing some work there, and the guy had me laughing the whole time I was there with the stuff he was saying and whatnot and picking on JV, and which was easy to pick on, because here he is. He's a car owner in an ARCA series, And here he is. It's not like your local racetrack. And Tommy Baldwin is the crew chief, and he was there as well for Visconti Motorsports. And they tell a little story that they don't use lead in the cars for the weight. They use tungsten. So Tommy Baldwin told his car owner, listen, go to this place, they give us a good deal, and get so many pounds of tungsten. So, okay, it's like on Long Island. You go to Overspeed, and I need this many pounds of lead.
And you pick it up.
Here's a couple $100, you're good. So the guy gets the tungsten, and I'll tell you, there was a little piece. When I say a little piece of tungsten, it was maybe this big. It had to weigh like 15 pounds. It had to weigh 15 pounds. So the guy puts the tungsten, in the box and struggles it, puts it on the counter. He goes, okay, that's $11,000 for ballast on a race car at that level. Yeah, I was like, it was incredible. It was just incredible. But the cost to put, there was 4 cars sitting in that shop. The short track car, the speedway car. This one's almost done. This one's brand spanking new. It's just a body. It doesn't even have nothing in it. It's just a body and interior tin. And people don't realize that once you get out of your local racing, it's a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different ballgame, and you need to.
Well, when you go from that buying your own ticket, getting into the racetrack, bringing your own food,
Yep.
having a little barbecue in the back of your pickup truck, and driving down the expressway, trying to evade the cops, because if they catch you with the propane tank, they're going to want to see your little hazmat thing on the back of your truck because you get $25 for taking a green flag.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yep.
Once you get past that and you decide, I'm going to make money at this, I'm going to go ahead and sell advertising on my car and take it to the next level,
Right.
where now you can start making money and start buying new equipment and moving up into the ranks, and I'm going to be a tour mod guy, and I'm going to... It takes that you go from having the fun down here to having the business up here, and it's a totally different aspect.
Oh, without a doubt.
Totally different, and that's the way it is in anything.
Right. Yeah.
Once you take the fun out of it,
It's a business, and you have to approach it like a business. And I always tried to do that on the local level, because that was my background, was business, and it was hard to do. Because like you said, all right, you didn't qualify, you took the green flag, you got $25.
Yeah, but you scratched the surface. We're having a burger early and we're going home.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. When
No.
you're in it and you're getting paid to be in it, it's a different animal altogether.
Without a doubt.
Different animal altogether. They don't call it the racing business for a reason. That's why they call it the racing business, or else they would call it the racing fun.
Right.
And they don't call it the racing fun.
Yeah. I've had a lot of discussions with drivers and car owners that race on the local level, and they give me this story, I says, when you want to make some more money, maybe get a nice sponsor to put on your car, and you're getting $125 to win in one of the lesser divisions, and I'm not here for the money. So this is what I say to those guys. I said, this is what I would recommend that you do, is you don't take your payoff every week. At the end of the year, you take your payoff and you go donate it. Go donate it. If you're not here for the money, what difference does it make? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the season, you ran 20 races, you averaged $100, so now you got $2,000. Take that $2,000 and give it to charity. Oh, why would I do that? Because you're not here for the money. You just said that. You're not here for the money. I got I was an idiot.
They find somebody to pay for one set of tires. To a race car driver, it's all about tires and fuel.
Tires and fuel.
So the bottom line is, how much can I get enough money out of him for a set of tires? Can I get enough money out of this guy for a can of fuel?
Right.
And that's the way they think about it.
Yeah.
But they don't think about what's going to happen next year. They don't think about what's going to happen, if they need to get, you need to get 50 tires at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
It's a lot of set of tires.
Yeah.
It's tough. It really is tough.
tough.
Don't get me wrong. And and you had a business background. I had a business background, but not everybody does.
No. And guys, it's kind of funny. A driver showed up at the racetrack. It was a friend of mine, and his quarter panel on each side and his trunk had this sponsor on it. I said, wow, that guy must have gave you a lot of money. Yeah, he gave me $750. You gave the guy your 3 prime spots for $750. So what are you going to, 2 weeks of racing? Because that's one set of tires.
Tires,
dude.
right, it's over.
You know? No.
But the reality is, how many people get that kind of money out of their sponsors in order to make it through a whole season like that?
No.
You know what I mean? I remember one guy, I'm not even going to say his name, but I remember the announcer at Riverhead was telling me, he came to him and said, listen, I need a sponsor. Do you know anybody who wants to sponsor a race car? And this guy had sponsors all over his car. There was no paint. You could barely see the paint. There were so many sponsors. But they were all people he knew, you know, somebody who, you know, bought him a sandwich at the deli, I don't know, but he had people all over his car. Yeah. And sometimes it costs you more to have and don't get me wrong, it looks great having all of the names on there. But it costs you money to put the names on there. And then when you crash, you got to put the names back.
Got to put them again.
Unless you're not gonna.
Yeah. And, you know, and no, like when I had that big sponsor for years, and when I say big sponsor, it was a big sponsor. And he would get violently upset on a Sunday if the picture from Victory Lane had the crew in front of the car, like the side view. They should be behind the car so you could see the sponsor names.
Makes perfectly good sense.
The driver's suit would say, you know, Acme Corporation. So what does the driver do after he races? He takes it off and ties
it around his waist.
The guy won berserk when he saw that kind of stuff, and I understood, and he was right. Don't block, that's why.
But how many people? But how many people understand that? Nobody. Honestly, I tell you what, I probably would have did the same thing and thought about it after and said, oh.
Yeah.
So nobody's fault. It's just, you know, that's where you need the guy that comes out with the armful of hats to tell you what to do. And we talked about this last week. You need to have a marketing person, has to be your first paid person on your team. Not just, oh, my cousin's got a cell phone, I'm going to let them do it. You know, you need to have a marketing person, somebody who's really going to handle this stuff. I mean, if you got 1, 2, 3, 4 sponsors, or whatever the case may be, you need to have somebody handling these people. Meeting them at the gate if they come in, bringing them in, talking to them, giving them the rundown, holding their hand, And, you know, they're the ones that are keeping you honest. When you win, they're running out there, not to be in the picture, but to run out there and say, all right, let's stage this now. What's going to look good? You got to be over here. Let's put the trophy on top of the car. Let's put you guys over here. Let's get one shot of the driver. Okay, now, that I did when I took my pictures, right? Always made sure I got a picture with the sponsor's name, who I was giving the picture at the end of the year. You know, because the last thing you want to be doing is kneeling in front of the sponsor who you give them the picture. It's like, I can't see my name.
And I don't want to drag this out, but I sponsored a handful of cars at my local racetrack here. And at the end of the year, I didn't get that picture. And they won races.
Really?
And they won races, they won Victory Lane. And I don't care if they didn't win races, some action shots. There's action shots of every car on a racetrack.
Yeah, for $10 you can buy an action shot. Stick it up there.
I'm looking, you know, the year ends.
No, thank you.
And I'm waiting for my envelope in the mail with the picture. Nah. So I go to their shop, and there's the picture hanging up on their wall. Nice picture. That night we won. Yeah, I know that.
Where's my picture?
There's my logo. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate what you did. Coming back next year? No. What do you mean? You didn't think enough to give me a picture, but you took my check pretty damn quick.
That's why you need that guy with the hats.
Exactly.
You need to have the guy with the hats, I'm telling you. That's an important thing. Turn the Pepsi bottle around.
Yeah, you know.
How many times you see the hand come in and go?
Yes, yeah, they're like this. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and we come back, we're going to talk about the Busch Clash, which will be happening on Wednesday at Daytona International Speedway when we come back.
Hey guys, this is Jibs from Ocean's 8, Alaska, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hi, I'm Remington.
I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
Hey, this is Chris West Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Yeah, the racing season has started. New Smyrna Speedway, as we talked about it, and the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour is there, as well as the ARCA Menards Series. And Ryan Preece is sitting on the pole for the tour race. And from first to last was separated by .117. That's nothing. That's a hiccup. From first to last. Anyway, the Busch Clash. It's been known as a bunch of different events over the years, but it's back to being called the Busch Clash. As we speak, the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series is kicking off with the Busch Clash from the Daytona International Speedway in Florida on the road course, which is a first time for the Busch Clash.
Yeah.
It's, wow. The Busch Clash was first run in 1979. 21 drivers are in tonight's event, which includes 2020 Cup champion Chase Elliott, who does very well on road courses. Tonight on the racetrack will be the debut of the new 2311 team, which is co-owned by Joe Gibbs Racing driver Denny Hamlin and former NBA star Michael Jordan. And Ty Dillon, who is eligible for the Busch Clash, will be driving that car because he's rideless. So he'll be driving the 2311 team car, as Bubba Wallace did not qualify for the event, so they gave the ride to Ty Dillon for the event. So the Busch Clash is, it's a big paying race, and it's go or don't go. They tear some equipment up in this race because it pays so well, and they don't use these cars for the Daytona 500.
Well, road course car especially, yeah.
Yeah. So and with the way they changed qualifying for Daytona, we'll talk about that in a little while, but the way they changed qualifying is they used to do the pole qualifying Sunday. It used to be like a whole 9-day deal, practice, and then qualifying for Sunday, and then just practice all week, and then they run the dual races on Thursday to determine the rest of the field because they only can qualify the front row on Sunday, which I always thought that was kind of crazy. But
Yeah, 2 guys on the front row?
well, they were the first pole and outside pole.
Right.
So they did. And the other 38 spots are determined through the duels, which I always found a little confusing because a team could sit back on their qualifying time or their finish in the duel. Now, I don't know how they figured it out. I tried to figure it out. I worked the event, and I've tried to figure it out, and then they have it within seconds, you know. Okay, boom, boom, okay, done, here's the lineup. I'm like, whoa. And I'm still trying to figure out, you know, but this guy was faster than this guy, but this guy finished better in the duels, and it's a matter of what you sit back on. I don't know, I can't figure it out. But the other situation that they're looking at is that 44 entries, 44 teams are entered into the Daytona 500. 36 are guaranteed in, the charter teams, guaranteed in no matter what they do. All they got to do is be on the track, qualify either on qualifying day or through the duels, and they're automatically in. Because there's only 4 spots left.
That are available and open for somebody who's new.
And there's 44 cars, so 4 teams are going home. NASCAR Cup Series level has not had that situation in quite some time.
You should go down there with the Gremlins, see if you can qualify.
You know, I'll tell you.
The lime green Gremlin.
The lime green Gremlin. But it's just kind of changed. And they're saying they had to make all these changes because of COVID, and I guess every business in America or in the world,
yeah,
in
I'm
fact,
sure.
is making changes.
They're cutting out cardboards of people putting in the stands.
Oh, yeah. I don't get it, but you know, you go to Charlotte Motor Speedway and the place is empty, but the way the seats are painted,
It looks like
it's full with all the different colors and.
Well, let me give you a little insight. You want some insight?
Oh, sure.
On the other end of the coin, I was actually reading in some of my magazines because, you know, as most people know, I'm a sound engineer. I own a music store. I get magazines where they're talking about crowd noise. And there's different technologies that they're using. You know, the old laugh track from the 70s thing is a thing of the past,
Yeah.
right? So they're coming up with these different technologies in order to make crowd noise. Like if you've watched some TV shows that claim to be live and have live studio audiences, like, wait a minute, they're not supposed to have live studio audiences.
Right.
You know, you're watching whatever it is and you're like, there isn't that many people on the crew to be clapping and yelling and stuff. And that's what they're doing. They're adding these noises in there to keep the fervor going, you know, keep the energy level up, if you will. So that's one of the things that they're doing at the racetracks as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that's a whole new business now.
Oh yeah.
They're coming up with all kinds of different, you know, computer programs that'll generate that.
Yep.
And realistically, you know.
Well, you know, it's funny. There's no secret that I'm involved with movie making as I guess an actor or whatever. But my first stint was as an extra, and there had to be conversation in the crowd, and everybody, all they said was peas and carrots. And if everybody's saying peas and carrots, it can't be determined what they're saying because everybody says at a different tone, different rate, low, high, and you just say peas and carrots, and your lips are moving, peas and carrots. And when you listen to it, you know, on tape or the video, it just sounds like people are talking in the background, which I was like, wow. You know, the things you learn, the things you learn on the set.
That's all the smoke and mirrors.
It is.
Behind the scenes.
It is. Or, you know, you're drinking watered down cranberry juice when it's supposed to be red wine. So anyway, I'm having fun with that.
That's not a new thing.
No, that's an old. And white wine would be watered down apple juice, and like whiskey would be like iced tea watered down. It's a learning experience. But anyway, the next gen car for the Cup Series, the next generation NASCAR Cup car is one step closer to completion. NASCAR officials confirmed during the annual R&D media briefing that development of the chassis and the internal components has come to a close. The official debut for the Gen car will be February 2022 during Speed Weeks. And with a lot of the changes, we talked about them here on the show, the 18-inch wheels and the one hub lug nut thing like they have in IndyCar Formula One, and electric. So they go into two.
And this is going to replace all the gas engines.
And it's up to the teams
I'm
now.
thinking Sunoco Race Fuels is not going to be a happy camper with that.
No. And at certain levels, Sunoco Race Fuels gives the teams the fuel for free. It's part of the deal. And I know when the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour shows up in New Hampshire and Bristol, fuel's free. Go load up. And I know a driver who shall remain nameless walked out of New Hampshire or drove out, I should say, with over 100 gallons of Sunoco race fuel that he just kept going and filling up his cans, filling up this, filling up that, filling up big barrel, filling up every fuel cell he had because it was free. And and now they take your car number. So I don't know, the Sunoco guy sitting there, okay, what's your car number? 52. Okay, how many gallons? 10. You got it. And then half hour later, what's your car number? 52. They don't go back and say, look, you already got 30 gallons.
You already got 150 gallons here.
And there's somebody that's watching now.
Well,
they can confirm this.
I was not that lucky. I was the guy with the 55-gallon drums in my shop.
Yeah. And that's how I used to buy it by the drum, but I left it on the truck, and they had a thing taped to the side, and they took a script or whatever, and if somebody got 5 gallons, he'd write 5 gallons. And if there was like 40 gallons in the tank, took it down, and then they put 5, 35, and Gagos Paisano took it. And every week, and then when it got like close to like 10 gallons, he'd say, do you want another full barrel? You want a half a barrel? Because I didn't want to bring the barrel back and forth or have it in my trailer, so it worked that good.
I wasn't that smart.
Yeah.
He would drop it behind the shop, and I'd wheel it and leave it there for me, and I'd wheel it in.
Wheel it in, yeah. And then there were a couple and I realized to doing that because I went to get the barrel from him at the racetrack, and I saw somebody else there, and they were like, how many gallons I got left? Oh, you got 30 gallons left. I was like, oh, you keep the barrels here? He goes, yeah, it's easier for the driver. I said, can I do that? Well, sure. And I was like,
how many barrels does he have on that truck with names on them?
Yeah, there were quite a few.
Yeah.
There were quite a few. Because he said to me, it's easier for him to store the team's fuel than to drive around Long Island dropping it off.
Yeah, that makes sense. He never told me that.
Yeah.
Maybe he did and I didn't know. So I stored it in the best place I could in the shop, right next to the chop saw.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, where all the sparks fly.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it was.
Yeah, it was. Hey, you had to put it somewhere.
You remember?
Yeah, I do remember.
Put your metal down on top of the tank when you're cutting it on the chop saw?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that close, but it was pretty close.
Yeah,
I missed that shop. I really did. That was a great
and
shop.
then when you were in a bad mood, you played video games.
That was a great shop.
You had the jukebox.
You had to kick Derek out of the way.
Yeah.
Because he was always over there.
Yeah. Remember bringing my girls, I used to bring them to the shop, and because I didn't work on Fridays. So Fridays I go pretend to work on my race car, and I bring my girls because their mother was working. And they were like, Dad, the first time, Dad, do we have to go? We're going to be bored. So there they were playing Pac-Man,
you won't be bored.
Space Invaders, the jukebox is playing.
You had, what was the Kung Fu one?
Yeah, that was,
had the
that
Kung
was
Fu
another
one,
fighting game.
I think there was. We had 2 pinball machines?
Yes.
I think there were 2 pinball machines. I was
machines.
thinking about that the other day. Was there 1 or 2?
Yeah, and there was a little lever in the back so you didn't have to pay.
Yeah, they all had buttons in the front.
We had some fun. We really did.
We had the jukebox.
Oh, man.
We had it all there. That was good. That was a big shop.
It was a big shop, and the parts and equipment. And I remember the first time I went there, you said, leave your tools home because if I don't have that tool, it hasn't been invented yet. I remember you telling me that.
We had everything there was to have.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Anyway, what are they saying here? A lot of people.
They're saying something about that fat guy on TV?
Yeah. Bill Batch, 22 figure 8 guy. You put, I only used 1 gallon after crashing out, so my barrel lasted 2 seasons. I'll tell you what, no matter what kind of a mood I'm in, I come here and I crack up. You guys are all right. We have history. We go back, and I started racing in '78, and I was involved since the early '70s. So we have a lot of fun. A lot of good memories.
I think about it a lot. I think about, it was a different time then. I didn't have all well, I guess I did, but all the responsibilities that I have now. But it seems like I have a lot more now than I did. But I had about the same.
Yeah.
But I was still every day, every night. We were over there working on the cars, and
Yeah, doing
I'm
something.
going to the track every weekend, and I'm like, how did I do all of that?
I know.
Back then.
And work 2 jobs,
And
essentially.
worked at 2 jobs. Did I not teach on Saturdays? I mean, now I teach like the whole day.
Yeah.
It's like, how did I make that happen?
I was traveling.
It boggles the mind. I'm like, where did I come up with this money? But it boggles the mind that I came up with the money to rebuild my house after Sandy. I mean, I can't even figure out where I came up with that.
You do what you got to do when you got to do it. You know.
Yeah.
Jay Slice, I never touched the motors working on. You're absolutely right. If it didn't start, I had to call somebody, and sometimes it was as simple as flipping the battery switch. You know, oh, it's not starting. I don't know what to do.
Well, my crew chief rebuilt my motor once. That was a short season.
Yeah. But you know, it's.
And then I called up Jack, and I had to put that on like layaway.
Yeah.
Had to call up Jack Merkel, and I was like, how much is that motor?
Yeah.
You know, I didn't pay that much for the car.
Yeah. It's funny how that stuff happens.
I put a motor up on Facebook Marketplace. I put Jack Merkel motor up on Facebook Marketplace, and it was who am I forgetting now? It's Richie, G-Force.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like, bro, man. He goes, I got your back, man. He goes, I'm standing up for you. I'm like, why? What's going on? He's like, they're bashing the hell out of you. I'm like, no. What's going I got nobody wants the motor, but I got like 1,000 views on this thing and 1,000 comments. They're all, who's this Jack Merkel guy? Jack Merkel. Look at this motor. It's dirty. I'm like, well, let me put some chrome on it. That adds 20 horsepower. So they were like bashing me, and I didn't even know about it.
That's good.
So they're making fun of Jack Merkel. So other people are jumping in, going, you know, putting articles of Jack Merkel because he's in the Drag Race Hall of Fame.
Yes, he is.
You know what I mean?
NHRA Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and they're like, you call yourself a drag racer? You don't know who Jack Merkel is? So now they start bashing all the other people that are making comments. They're having a ball with me just putting my motor up.
Wow.
So
There we go.
not one person contacted me and said, hey, I'm looking to buy it. But they're having a blast with it, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue to discuss the Daytona qualifying and also the NASCAR Drive for Diversity, which is the drivers have been chosen when we come back.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop. 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Mark Whelen. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, we're going to punch in the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
What's up, guys? This is Assuming You Survive, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back to the show.
So as earlier we were talking about the Daytona 500 qualifying. Like I said, the Daytona 500 lineups determined. It's unlike any other track on the Cup Series on their schedule, because it's you qualify, you race. With Daytona, like I said, they have one day for the front row to determine who the front row is, and then they go and have the duels to determine the rest. So it's kind of interesting how they do that. So and I'll tell you what, I know when I worked qualifying. I usually was on pit road, and I would send the cars out. And you're standing there, yeah, let's go. And you have, in the modified, 40 some odd cars, and qualifying could take an hour. And you're just standing there. They come on to turn one, they go around, take the green, go around, white, come around, checker, pull in, next car goes
Did you
out.
fall asleep like you do at my house during the 500?
No, I did fall asleep a couple of times.
Dueling dumbasses. You sleeping in one chair, me sleeping in the other.
But I'm working Martinsville. I'm driving the caution car.
Oh yeah, I remember this story.
And it was a hot day. It was hot.
So you were nice and warm.
So I'm sitting in the pace car, and they had me tucked in behind turn one, and I'm sitting there, and I paced the field for the start, and I drop down pit road and tuck into my thing, and it race, and have the radio on, and okay, spin, turn 3, put it out, caution car, your leader's to 14, pick him up, he's in turn 1, boop, get on the backstretch, all good. Next thing I know, I'm watching the race, and it's a long stretch, and you're hearing this zoom, 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 and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm falling asleep. Next thing I hear is, never mind, Joe, get him next time. And already the whole field went past where I was, and I had to go catch up to the field. And they had pictures of it. And at the NASCAR banquet, they had pictures of me sleeping in the
car.
Yeah, and that time I was sleeping in the tower during practice, because it's an hour and a half round robin practice, and I'm like this. And I think I was at Seekonk, where it was like being in your attic in August. No air conditioning, no one. I'm like, I'm falling asleep.
No air conditioning in the car?
No air conditioning. Next thing I know, somebody comes in and they slam the door shut. And I was like, whoa, what? You're sleeping, everybody sees you. Oh, sorry. But anyway. Yeah, that's the thing.
I had a couple of sleeping stories. I fell asleep in the middle of Charlotte racetrack with the headphones on, listening to the track, to the chatter on the race car.
Well, it's soothing.
And my crew chief says, "How can you possibly fall asleep?"
It's easy.
I mean, we did nothing but go since we were at Charlotte. We were there for the whole week, and we did nothing but go before the Cup Series on Sunday. Just constantly went. Between driving and getting there and working and up early in the morning and signing in and being there and working on the car. And I got the headphones on, I got the radio, I'm in the van, it's nice and warm, boom, out. He's like, I don't know how you do it.
It's easy.
I said, it's easy. All you got to do is work the kind of hours that I work. Well, I work those, you don't work those kind of hours. You work the kind of hours that I work, and next thing you know, you can fall asleep anywhere.
Hey.
So he wound up doing that. We got a picture of him under the race car, his hand on the tire with the wrench on a nut like this. Totally out cold. We got a picture of him.
Yeah.
I said, that's how you do it.
Well, there was a time I went up Middletown. It was Middletown. And I go up with, our old videographer guy, and he always drove home. So we're driving, and he's following a hauler, because he wasn't sure how to get.
And he wound up in Florida. I know this guy.
He wound, all of a sudden, I wake up to him punching the steering wheel, hitting the dashboard, screaming. I said, what's the matter?
And you look out the window, what do you see?
We're in a cornfield.
Those are always great.
How did we get in a cornfield? I was following that hauler. It was the guy's farm. He was going home. You're in it. You didn't realize that you probably passed over 287, 87. You didn't realize that?
You didn't see anything that said New York this way?
I thought he knew a shortcut.
Shortcut to where?
Oh, please. Please. Well, I could write a book on my escapades with that fine gentleman. But anyway, so to qualify now, what they got now is, it's not new, the NASCAR Drive for Diversity. 8 drivers have been named for this year's class for the NASCAR Drive for Diversity Development Program. NASCAR and Rev Racing have recently awarded 2 members of the class. Will be entering the ARCA competition. Nick Sawyer will run the series full-time in the ARCA Menards Series National Tour, and Raja Karuth will run in the ARCA Menards Series East while continuing in the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series. The following drivers will also compete in the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Series under the Drive for Diversity, and that's Isabella Robusto, LeVar Scott, Regina Servant, Justin Campbell, Andres Perez de Lara, and Jaden Reyna. So what NASCAR is trying to do is diversify, and they continue to diversify and bring women and minorities into the fold to better their product. For the longest time, NASCAR was just a Southern boys racing thing.
A good old boy thing.
A good old boy things, and who they raced on weekends and ran moonshine during the week.
Are these actually people that race, or are they just dragging them out of the hills?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure how you get picked.
That's to me.
I do know of a person from Long Island that was in that program, and they didn't make it for whatever reason. They just didn't make it. They didn't make the cut or whatever, because they don't just have 8 people at the NASCAR Institute doing this, which I passed when I was doing my travels last week. And I'm sure they go in with a lot of people, and they test them, and they race, and they drive, and okay, you know, and if you ever watch, like, On the Waterfront, you know, the old movies with they go all on the waterfront, and there's a big gate, and there's a guy with a clipboard. We need 10 guys. You. This is how I see the NASCAR University.
Exactly. That's it. Well, put my name in there. It's Jose Schultzellini. Put it in there. Go ahead. Put it in the computer there. Jose Schultzellini. See if it comes up.
I'm going to change my name to Jose Laredo. Maybe I'll get more things, you know. Yes, but it's interesting how, you know, and shame on me, I don't know some of the names of the guys. You know, guys is girls racing in the Top Series anymore. You know, that went through that program, so I'll have that for next time, because we'll have some news on how they did, because the ARCA Menards Series Tour is racing as we speak at New Smyrna Speedway.
Yeah, Dave, I see Bill Betch has us on with the Ranger Game, New Smyrna, and 505 on. He goes, respect.
I'm telling you, it used to be, he would get, remember the old chat room?
We were the first ones. Yeah. It used to be 505 on, Ranger Game, New Smyrna.
Yeah, then it became for a short period, Ranger Game tonight, see you next week. Now, he's multitasking.
All right, that's good.
It's good. I like that.
He's got all his media out there.
Yeah.
That's like the honeymooners. You make sure you got all your chips in the right place. You can grab them all. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And you know what? It's you know, Bill, we go back a long way racing, and it was like always, you know, we both came out with our cars. Mine was black and blue, and
his was blue and black.
No, and his was like orange, I believe, and white and stuff.
Orange, white, and blue, the Ranger colors.
Exactly. So at the end of our races, my colors were always on his car, and his colors always on my car. Oh. You know, and sometimes it'd be like the first lap.
Did you guys get one of those big hearts for Valentine's Day with your car and his car?
And he never like flipped out. Like his crew didn't know, come down and want to do stuff. But one day he was walking down, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel like doing this now. And all he did is he come up there, and he'll verify this. He come up there and goes, Joe, 1 lap. That's all we did tonight, 1 lap. And he walked away. And then years later, I'm the head guy at the racetrack, and he wins his race. So I go down in the golf cart, and I'm going, and I'm sure they see me coming thinking they're DQ'd or something, because we had history, you know. I got off the car, and I congratulated him on his first race, because that's what I did, you know. I tried to keep track.
Did you tell him 1 lap is all you made?
Well, you know, like there was one guy.
You only had to lead the last one.
The last one. Well, you know, it was like the one guy when I was on the ramp and he was racing, and I went like this too.
Oh, that old jag, yeah. I had a car without bumpers. I had the nicest car on the track with no bumpers. How do I get hooked on somebody else's bumper?
I know. Yeah,
how does that work out when I'm leading the race? How do I get hooked and get spun out?
It's what's underneath that bumper cover. That's what it is.
Unbelievable.
That's what happens. But anyway, we
Come
had
on, that whole year, how close was I?
They got to the point.
Every week I was this close. He's out on the ramp. I'm going around. I'm not even looking at him.
Yeah.
I'm down low. I'm not
like
even looking at him.
and he's coming, and he's like this.
I'm not even looking. And he's like this close. I'm not even looking. I'm not looking at you, you bastard.
You know, people thought I was a mean guy when I was the head guy. I was. I had a lot of fun.
We had fun with it. We had fun with it.
I did have fun. And Rich Giordano from G-Force, I remember his motor came up, not good. But we needed the trucks. I don't want to not let a guy race. So I said, listen, go out, have fun, don't win. He goes, huh? Don't win. Because if you win, Tech's gonna find that the motor's no good, and I gotta take it away. So do me a favor, don't win. Well, he blows the field away. I mean, blows it away. And I'm like, maybe he'll spin himself on with 2 to go or something. So he wins, he pulls into victory lane. I go to him, I said, what did I tell you? I said don't win. He goes, what? But I guess, there's nobody in front of you.
Some people don't get it, yeah.
And you're running, you know what? So I'll have 5 minutes of fame instead of 15. But hey.
Whatever it takes. Hey, that time I helped Eugene Malverde, he was out there, he went from the back of the field to the front of the field. The next week, he's leading the race. Next thing I know, he falls back like 3 spots. I'm like, all right, it's all right. It happens, Yeah. But he was still happy with that. I'm like, he goes, I couldn't win because my motor's not legal. I'm like, it's a blunderbuss car. How unlegal could it be? There was some tricks.
There's some tricks.
But still, he had a blast over there. I got him to the front of the field. You know what I mean? Just handling. He was spinning out the week before and fishtailing. He looked like me.
It's funny. There was a guy that raced with us, and we were racing back in the figure 8 days, and I have a motor that's not legal. It's bought out way too much. But nobody's going to worry about me because I'm like mid-pack. I'm not competing for wins. I'm not winning. So anyway, the motor gets sold to some other driver. I had sold the car and everything, so the guy who bought my car sold this other guy the motor. And I'm like, oh, it's pretty interesting. So now I'm the head guy, and this...
And that motor comes up.
Well, this team... they had frequent flyer miles to my office and the ramp. It was like every daggone week, screaming at me, yelling at me, all kinds of stuff. So I bring them in one night. I said, listen, if you and your crew don't leave me alone, I'm going to find something illegal on your car. And
you were right, on my car.
Yeah. So he says,
on my motor.
So he goes, my car is as legal as legal. You could write the rule book for him. Listen, I'm telling you. Just one more time I get my chops broken by you or your race team, you're going to Tech. I don't care if you finished last 20 laps down. So, following week, not only did they bust my shoes, they bust my shoes worse than ever before. So I don't say nothing. I just walk away. Hey, he's racing, and then we put the top 3 in Tech plus 1 at random. So I stop him on the ramp coming off the track. I went, go to Tech. What are you talking about? I'm not even in the top 10. Go to Tech. So he goes to Tech. Now there was a race after that one. So the head tech guy goes, what are we doing with this car? I said, don't know nothing until I get there. So we go down, races end, pull the heads, measure that. So my tech guy gets his thing out. It's 80 over. It's only allowed to be 60 over. And the guy is screaming, that's not true. You don't know how to use that gauge. You can't read them. So I'm 80 over. Now under rules, that motor becomes property of NASCAR. So I said, listen, pull the motor out. It's ours. I'm not pulling it. I'm suing you. I'm this. I'm that. Screaming and yelling. They want to beat me up. And 5 guys come into my trailer at the end of my office. They're ready. You're not leaving here in one piece. And it was whatever. So the next morning, about 9 o'clock, my phone rings. Caller ID. It's that guy. I said, this is going to be interesting. Yeah. I owe you an apology. You do? I owe you an apology. How do you want to work this? Why do you owe me an apology? My tech officials are idiots. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. You're going to kill me. All that kind of. He goes, well, I got home in the light. The pistons are stamped 80 over. So I measured, and they're 80 over. He goes, but I can't give you this motor. So I made a deal. Bring me, I don't care if it's a junk motor that you're power washed. I got a safe face. And you're good, you know, you got your DQ and whatever. So he does that. A couple of years later, guy pulls into the pits. Guy blew like 3 motors in 3 weeks. I'm looking at this motor.
This looks familiar.
Yeah. Look, I'm saying, So it had a little mist to it, so the guy that I DQ'd comes over and he's going to take the mist out of it. So I go over, and this is years later. I said, this motor looks pretty familiar. How do you remember this motor? He's like flipping. I said, I whispered in his ear, I said, the guy's a back marker. We need the cars. Don't worry about it. Yeah. The things we did. Yeah. But you have to do those things sometimes. Whoa, Jay Slice knows what car it was.
He pulled it out of his hat, boy, I tell you what.
Ding, 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 and you win. Yeah.
Circle gets the square.
Circle gets the square. Well, I don't know how much time we got left, but we,
She's shaking her head. We don't have any
we
time
don't have any
left.
time. Oh, good. I was just saying.
We got to get out of here in time to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Anyway, but racing started. We're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. Next week, we'll be talking
Didn't
about.
we talk about it this week already?
Yeah, but now there's going to be results. New Smyrna, ARCA,
Daytona.
Tour, the Busch Clash.
Daytona?
Right, Daytona, and Daytona.
Daytona's Sunday, right?
Daytona's Sunday. We got the Xfinity cars there Saturday and the trucks there Thursday after the qualifying. So we'll have a lot to talk about next week. So wherever your endeavors are going to bring you this week. And for those of you who are at New Smyrna for Speed Weeks, there's still a couple of nights left, so please be careful. And wish all the teams success this weekend. And those of you who are traveling down or already there, please be safe, please be careful. And we will see everybody next week.
And stay out of trouble.
Stay out of trouble. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Inravio.